In this video, we are talking about April snow in the north. Also, we've got more rounds of severe weather on the way for the Midwest. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already issued a Day 5 risk for severe weather. We're going to break down all the info as things are starting to look increasingly spicy. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Happy Monday, y'all. We've got a lot to talk about today, so we're going to skip right into the weather models. All right, here's a big old look at the lower 48 on the HRRR model. This is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. Starting off today at 2 p.m. Eastern, you can see those snow showers that we've been seeing all through the upper portions of the Midwest are going to move into the northeast and into the eastern portion of the Great Lakes region. Detroit, you're going to be seeing snow. Portions of northwestern Pennsylvania, you've got snow, and this is going to continue to advect off to the north and east and affect maybe Toronto and Ottawa with some snow as we approach midnight tonight. But as you can see, there's a lot of rain mixed in here too. This is a very odd situation. It's a very tricky situation to forecast. Where exactly snow falls is still kind of up in the air, but we're pretty sure that upstate New York is going to get some snow, portions of Pennsylvania, and of course as you get further up into Quebec. So and then look at this on the backside, we got a bunch of snow squalls down here in Ohio, down into West Virginia and Kentucky. Those could put down real quick accumulations of snow, sleet, grapple, or even maybe just regular rain. We're still going to see some heavy snow off the lakes there, especially in Pennsylvania into portions of New York. So that's kind of what the next, 36 hours look like for you there. It's going to be a mess of rain, snow, sleet, and everything in between up there in the northeastern portion of the U.S. You can also see that over here in the northwestern portion of the U.S., we got some snow and rain. Snow in the higher elevations, rain down in the valleys with a new system that's coming into play. And then right there on the last frame, you can see another area of heavy rain, wind, and snow in the higher elevations is going to be affecting the Pacific Northwest as we get into Wednesday, April 20th. So let's take a look at how much snow can be expected by the time this is all said and done. Up here in northeastern Ohio, the closer you are to the lakes, you're going to end up with 4 or 5 inches. Over here towards Erie, once again, the closer you get to the lakes, I think more than 6 inches is possible, especially right here to the east of Erie. If you get under the right band of snow, we're talking about 8, 9, 10 inches. Buffalo and areas just to the north, it looks like this is not going to be that big of a deal for you. But as we get over here into upstate New York near Syracuse and Utica areas points north, especially in the higher elevations, some people could see close to a foot of snow. Now remember, this is what's going to fall from the sky. This is not likely what everybody's going to see accumulated on the ground. I wouldn't be surprised for a brief period of time. A lot of people are going to see 6 inches of snow, but it's going to melt real quick. And also a lot of it's going to melt on impact before you even get a chance to, go measure it. So it's going to be snowing heavily in a lot of these areas, and some places are going to get a good amount of accumulation, but I don't want everybody to think that this is going to be some sort of big snowstorm that sticks around for a long time. Over here north of Detroit, we're talking about 3 to 5 inches. A lot of the of Michigan here, especially on the northern side, is going to get 1 or 2 inches. And then of course, the closer you are to any lakes, when you have that outflow of the warmer lake waters coming out over onto land, you are going to end up with a couple more inches of snow. All right, coming over here to the Euro model, let's go even further into the future and see what's going to be happening here. You can see our snow showers and our rain all the way down into the southeast that's associated with today's storms, moving into the northeast, once again causing some big time snow there in Pennsylvania and New York. Hit or miss though as you go further into the northeast, including Maine. It looks like the southern portion of Maine is going to get mostly rain, and northern Maine might stay all snow. And then of course up there in Quebec, you guys are going to get a pretty good whopping of snow by the time this thing is all said and done. And then look at this, we've got a ridge coming in. Springtime again for us here in the central portion of the U.S. It's still pretty cold up here in the northeast, but we're starting to get warm. It's starting to get juicy out there. It's starting to get a little bit spicy. And of course, that is going to spark the creation of some new storms there in Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas on Tuesday into Wednesday. Some of those could actually be severe as we get into later in the day on Wednesday. I'm kind of concerned about the severe weather aspect right here. If we look at the instantaneous flash rate, you can see that those storms are going to pop up and then traverse across the states, and then new storms are going to pop up on Wednesday as well, and those are going to continue all the way into Tennessee and Kentucky. Now, as of right now, this is not looking like it's going to be a huge deal, but the upper air wind dynamics do support potential storms and maybe even tornadoes on Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even a little bit on Thursday. But we really don't know a whole lot about this. It'll take some time for us to nail this down. But the nadir juice isn't really potent unless the other ingredients are in place as well. well. As you can see, if we switch over to dew points, the moisture is actually displaced from the strongest portion of the lower level jet. So there's still a lot of details to work out. I don't know exactly what's going to happen here, but I'm watching it closely. So pay attention to the channel, make sure you subscribe, turn notifications on, and we will keep you updated. Speaking of learning things, by the way, I've got to mention today's sponsor, Brilliant, the fun way to learn. Brilliant is an amazing tool for learning STEM with over 60 courses in mathematics, science, and computer science that help you learn fundamental concepts through engaging hands-on courses. I've actually been using Brilliant to challenge myself to learn new scientific concepts. And if you're like me, then you want to know how and why something works, not just the formula to it. They show you how to solve problems using critical reasoning skills and not just throwing you the same problem over and over with different variables. Whether you're a general weather enthusiast wanting to learn more about science or someone pursuing a meteorology degree, Brilliant's going to help you develop skills that will foster long-term commitment to learning at your own pace. And it's super easy to use. Simply choose which STEM subject you're interested in, your level of experience, and you're ready to start learning. So what are you waiting for? Go to brilliant.org/Ryan Hall to sign up for free. Also, the first 200 people will get 20% off their annual premium membership. Once again, that's brilliant.org/Ryan Hall. Go sign up right now for free, and the links are in the description. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, now let's get into the real reason why we're all here. We got another big severe weather outbreak coming, maybe, potentially, I don't know. Forecasting the weather is pretty hard once you get past 2 or 3 days out. If you didn't notice, us weathermen, we're wrong a lot, but I like to try to be completely transparent with you and let you know what I'm looking at so that you guys can kind of maybe start thinking about preparing for these storms if they do actually come to fruition. Here's our big trough, our upper air trough that's causing our snow up in the northeast right now. You can see it's actually negatively tilted. Pretty decent storm coming up through the northeast. Lots of wind gusts will be expected with this, and of course a couple areas will see more than a foot of snow. Really heavy rain and strong winds once again as you get into Maine and portions of Nova Scotia as that ejects off to the north and east. And then you can see very clearly our ridge that comes in and tries to bring some warm air into the central portion of the country, and especially the southeastern portion really starts to ramp up right here on April 21st. This is Thursday. But remember, all this is doing is allowing for the moisture from the Gulf of Mexico to advect up into the central portion of the U.S. Remember, the moisture follows this bend, okay? If that kind of buckles up, the moisture is going to go with it, and then as the trough comes through to sweep it out, the moisture is going to go with it. But look at that trough building over there on the west coast. Here we are Friday at 2 p.m., and you can see we've already got a wall building here. Remember, we treat these troughs as walls. Moisture and ingredients for storms are tomatoes or maters, and they're getting flung up against this wall, and the splattering action produces mater juice, which could be converted into nader juice, and that's my very rudimentary way of describing these models. But still, I mean, it kind of makes sense, and if you think about it, right up here is where we would expect that mater juice and potentially some strong storms there on Thursday, and of course into Friday as well. And then once we get into Saturday, that wall gets really defined, and we could see some tomatoes being flung at it at extremely high speeds, just meaning that we see more widespread storms as we get into portions of the upper plains into the Midwest, and possibly even back there towards the southern portion of the U.S. So that's our next big trough ejection. We're watching it closely. It doesn't look incredibly strong, but it does look good for severe weather, and I think a lot of it's going to happen over here in the plains, once again into the Midwest. And if we look at the lower level jet stream or the nader juice, buddy, we've got it, son. We've got plenty. Wind blowing in excess of 50 knots all across this storm system as you go through each day. So tornadoes could possibly be a hazard here. We won't really know until we understand the storm mode. Is this going to be a linear system? Is it going to be a supercellular system? Once we learn that, I will tell you, of course. But as of right now, it looks like a very interesting system. It looks like something you'd want to storm chase. Out here in the flat fields of the northern plains, not a lot of population out here. I'm honestly tempted to go hop in the Storm Seeker and head out there Thursday, intercept these storms on Friday, keep chasing them down, and then on Saturday we would intercept some storms over here in Iowa, and we take that Storm Seeker right on back down into Oklahoma on Sunday into Monday. We chase some storms down here. That would mean that I wouldn't be able to do my traditional live streams. However, I am really itching to get out there and actually storm chase. If you guys didn't know, I have a storm chasing vehicle, and I had the ability to live stream out there, and I'm thinking about doing it. Obviously, we'll still have Andy to work the radar and kind of butt in whenever signal drops for me. But I think that would be a fun experience and something new that we could try, a live storm chase out here on the plains. Let me know in the comments if you think that's something that we should try out. A huge shout out to everybody that's a member over here. Thank you so much for all the support. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, and then also we've got a new Reddit page now. We've got our Discord server. We've got all kinds of things going on. If you want to be a part of the community, there are tons of links in the description. Go check them out, y'all. And of course, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.